Okay, here's the deal. Are you looking for some good summer reads? It's summer. We want to read a book. Find the time to do it.
We want to read a book. Question is, are we going to read a book? I'm motivated. Local authors Liz and Lisa are back in studio with this month's book club. There's only one reason I would get this close to Raul and sitting next to him, because we're going to do this together. For you ladies and reading a book.
I thought it was because otherwise I'd be in their shot.
All right, you're here. You give us all these ideas of really, really good books for anybody who's never watched this before. And then we're going to do, have you done this? You haven't done this in a while. You do the emojis and then you're going to pick a book?
Oh, yeah.
He remembers. Yeah. Okay, ladies, he remembers. My bad. Take us through. What's our first pick?
Too Good to Be True by Carla Levering.
Okay.
So I was in a crazy book slump, and this took me out of it. So it starts off quickly. It has three narratives. Sky, who is a 29-year-old heiress. Burke, who's a 46-year-old man who gets into a relationship with Sky, but he's married and he has deceptive, he's being deceptive. And then the third narrative is Burke's wife, Heather, and it's told from 30 years prior. Now, I don't want to give anything away, but these three narratives collide in a very interesting way that you'll have to read to find out.
Oh, okay. What are your emojis?
Okay, so the first is a diary, because one of the narratives is Burke's diary. I know, diary, right?
Yeah,
but that's so. The second is cash money, because it has, you know, she's got a lot of money and Burke wants some. And the third are the hearts. It represents, the book does ask the question, like, what does love look like, and can you forgive someone for doing something terrible?
Oh, I like this. I like this a lot. Okay, did you take your notes? You took your
I'm
notes?
taking notes. Any action sequences in this book? Or how do you decide which money emoji, though? Because there's the bag of money, and there's the money with the knife through it for backstabbing.
I felt like Burke has a money clip.
Money clip?
A money clip.
That's, I actually had a thought about it.
I asked the tough questions.
You have to think about these things. There's a lot of work on the emojis.
Okay, next up we have Hostage. Tell me about that.
By Clare Mackintosh.
This sounds like it's action.
Okay, so this is action-packed. This is crazy, and as mothers, it's really going to get you, and as a father too.
Oh boy.
It takes place on an airplane over 20 hours on an inaugural flight between London and Sydney. The flight attendant, who's the mother of a 5-year-old who is not on the plane, gets a note that says, if you do the right thing here, your daughter will live.
Stop it!
She has to choose between...
Is the daughter on the airplane?
No. So she has to choose between her daughter back home and the entire flight. Is she going to do what these people say or not? So, and you don't have any idea at first, like who's trying to take control of the plane, who these people are, all the passengers, you get their different point of views, they're anonymous. And so.
Oh, this is a movie.
It's a movie. And New York Times actually said, at the last page, I got sick to my stomach and almost threw up. It was so crazy. Like, that was the New York Times, in a good way, they said. So that's how good this book is.
When you throw up in a good way.
And when you throw up in a good way.
I see Liam Neeson as some kind of guy helping.
I do too.
With his unique set of skills.
It's always Liam Neeson, for sure.
That sounds good.
Your emoji, a plane?
Okay, yes. How'd you guess? And there are a few different planes. But I took the one that was in like active flight.
You took the passenger jet in flight.
Oh. And then the face, because how do you decide? I mean, it's
You're tortured.
There is no right answer here.
Wow.
And then the because the end again.
The payoff.
And I didn't want to do the emoji with the
throwing up.
Yeah, because
that would have been perfect based on
we would have missed that one.
But it's a little over the top for our first time back in studio. I thought I'll wait on that one.
You got to go all in.
I know.
Raul, our third book choice.
Okay, The Invisible Life of Addie LaRue by V.E. Schwab. This is one of my favorite books of 2021, maybe of all time. It's about a woman named Addie LaRue that in the 1700s calls on a dark god and makes a wish. And through that wish, she becomes immortal, and then also people forget her. So as soon as she walks out of the room, they meet her, they forget her again. So she lives centuries like this. It's a very difficult life, and the dark god comes and visits her. They have a weird relationship, but 300 years later,
with the dark god.
I know they have this whole thing going on, but 300 years later, in modern times, she meets a guy that doesn't forget her, and then things get really interesting. And the ending is pitch perfect.
Okay, is there a heart in the emoji?
No, I started to cheat and look. I should have though, but so I have. I have the dark guy. I have the he's like they have the guy because at first like Addie's trying to figure out what's going on, and as a reader you're like, what is going on? Then that's my dark god. I don't know. I feel like that's what he looks like.
Like the moon?
Yeah, he's like a mad moon, like a very angry moon. And then the clock, because it's really interesting to watch the passage of time through Addie's eyes as she goes through, and you're kind of viewing history. So it almost is like historical fiction.
Cool.
Really interesting genre-bending book.
That sounds good. Okay. That one, that looks good. Okay. The last book we have for you, this is called, it's a hell of a book. Let me tell you, this is a hell of a book.
Right.
I'm telling you, it's a hell of a book.
That's all we need to say, actually, because it is. And it's by Jason Mott, and it is about a black author who's on book tour for the book he wrote called Hell of a Book.
Okay.
While he's on book tour, there's a simultaneous story going on about a young black boy named Soot in rural America. And then you also meet a character called the Kid, who may or may not be imaginary. This is, I just have to tell you, this is the craziest, most interesting, I was telling Liz before, like weirdest, funniest, most interesting, craziest book I've read in a long time.
Okay.
During the book tour, a young black boy has been shot. So that's the backdrop. It's about being black in America. It's about police violence. It's about so many things. It's funny, it's sad, and the whole time you just have no idea who these different characters are because they don't tell you anybody's name. You don't know if the author is Soot or if Soot is the kid or is the kid real. So you don't know until the very last.
I'd write a paper in my English class just on that choice alone.
It's so hard to describe. But it is, book clubs would go crazy over this because there's so much to talk about.
Because it's
hell of a book.
Good.
And
see what we did there? Emojis?
Okay, so I have the book because,
it's a book.
And a black man because it is about being black in America. And then the shadow guy because you don't know who anybody is until the very end, which has a crazy twist.
Hell of a book.
Hell of a book. Right.
I gotta find the time. I want these all sound amazing.
I know, but I think out of the four, I would read this
hostage. All right.
I would read this one.
Oh.
And are you gonna read the hostage?
I'll take the one about the dark god one.
The dark moon.
Yes.
They have a weird relationship. Yeah.
This is the time we live in where it's like, forget the movies. These are going to be Netflix short series, whatever it's called. Thank you both very much, Liz and Lisa. This was good stuff.
Too.
Time to read, everybody.
Links. Yeah, let's do that. To buy all of these books on our website, botsightsandiego.com. Just click the scene on tap.
Yes.